So after you have your Kafka up and running, you will enter its container to execute the commands to create topics, list topics, and send messages, just as send comments to list the contents of the topics. Let's run the command to get into the container. In my case here, the installation name it the main container as broker, and we'll use bash. Inside we have the bin folder where you have all Kafka scripts to perform various types of commands onto topics. Let's first list all the topics to see if there are no other topics with the names we'll be using. We'll be using two names. We'll be using name validation and name validation DLT. Let's run the first command then. This command will create a topic called name validation with just one partition. This topic will be the main topic that will be consumed by our consumer. Topic name validation. Let's see if it was created correctly. There it is, name validation. Now let's create the DLT topic. This command will create a topic called name validation DLT with one partition. This topic will receive the message after the consumer has failed in execution. Let's check it out. There is our two topics were created. Now let's take a look at the name validation consumer. The name validation consumer is a Kafka consumer annotated with a Kafka listener, and in its method a message will be received. It will just print the retry counts to the logger and will call an API. The API is a mock to an API call. We, for the sake of simplicity, will just have an empty method mock in the API. First, we won't throw any exceptions. We want it to be executed successfully. And the retryable annotation, it comes from the Spring Retry dependency, and its configuration will be monitoring which exception will trigger the attempts. We will try at most 3 times, and the first attempt it's included in this 3 attempts, and we'll have 1000 milliseconds between the attempts. That is 1 second. Now let's see what happens when it's called successfully. We'll get the container started, the application started, and now we'll send a message to be consumed. To send a message using Kafka scripts, we'll use this command, console producer, to the topic name validation. When we'll execute this command, it will wait for one or more messages to be sent. Let's send now the first message and see what happens there in the application. We have the consume method executed, a retry count was printed, the call API was made successfully, no exceptions were thrown. Let's take off the comment what will happen then? The retry annotation will get noticed that an API call exception was thrown. It will be captured here, and 3 attempts will be made with an interval of 1 second. If those 3 attempts fail, the recover method, which receives the recover annotation, will be execute, and the message will be sent to the DLT topic. Let's restart the application. And now let's send another message. We'll be sending out this other message. And here we see that when the second message was sent, the API call through an exception, it was captured by the retryable annotation, and 3 attempts was made. After those 3 attempts failed, the message was sent to DLT, as we ordered it to in the recover method with the annotation method. Now let's see if the message was sent to the DLT. Let's interrupt the message sending and let us execute the command to read messages from the name validation DLT and see if the message name Mesa was sent there. And there it is. There is the name Mesa, which was the message whose execution failed.